I assume we're going to non-public
I said, what did she
for
do? Okay.
attorney-client.
Oh, it's not even a meeting.
We'll,
Attorney-client. But he's not advising her of any matters of the law, we're just discussing
Oh, okay.
process of town
I'm
meeting.
not going to give you pearls of advice.
He might.
Well,
Inadvertently, of course.
we'll open this meeting of April 19th. Let the time show 10:07. Let the record show all selectmen are present. We're not meeting on Thursday because that's the big night. That's the big continuation of town meeting vote. Present. Do we want to go into non-public? This is public.
we only need to go into well, it wouldn't even be non-public, it'd be attorney-client if we're going to discuss legal affairs with our attorney.
You're welcome.
Pearls of wisdom probably aren't.
Open meeting either before or after? Just something you can sign.
Okay. And we have, also, we have the discussion on the, okay. Why don't we take Scott first, though, and then we'll, so we will break the meeting for a attorney-client session, and then we'll come back on board. Okay.
My adoring fans. I need more chocolate.
Okay, I've got a few things for you. The first thing is not what I'm passing out, but the first thing is
Yet you're
related
passing
to
it out.
a change in the agreement with the New Hampshire Public Deposit Investment Pool, or NHPDIP, and it requires, the new agreement requires a participation certificate signed, and they want one signature, but I have the new agreement here. It has to be returned within 30 days of this letter. We have we have two groups which are part of the town that keep funds at PDIP, the Sewer Commission and also the trustees. And so I think this just needs to be sort of a blanket for the town of Tilton. So therefore, that's why I'm presenting it to you. And if you'd like to look it over, it doesn't have to be signed today, but it should be something to be looked at. And we do participate currently. We will want to continue to participate, and therefore we just have to acknowledge this new agreement.
Were the conservation funds in there at one time?
Yes, they are. They are currently.
Okay.
They're the other.
So who's in there?
It is, in fact, I misspoke. It is not the trustees, it's the Conservation Commission monies as well as the Sewer Commission.
So there's two, not three.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, then moving along to the fund balance, and just some things that I've heard pertaining to the project for Thursday night. First of all, the first three paragraphs are what I presented to you back on April 7th, along with what's on the back side of this page, which is also what I presented to you April 7th. Since then, I had heard that the town is going to be looking at increased costs through the fire district, school district, and the town portion as well because of increased retirement expenses, things like that. The fire district had already budgeted for this increase. It was done erroneously originally, but now it appears to be maybe a fortuitous move, but it represents about $40,000. So that money will already be raised. So there is not an additional increase that we're going to see through the fire district. The school district already has the plan in place set for the 11-12 school year, and the budget set. And in talking with Cheryl Soma, the school board met the Monday following the school meeting where the budget was set, and they identified additional savings if the state has to take or pass on more costs down to the school districts. And subsequent to that time, they also discovered that the building aid will continue, which was not known at one point, and that was a significant portion of it. So essentially, she said that they are set, they've identified where they can absorb additional costs, and that it will not be passed on to the taxpayer through budget issues. That was the gist of it. Now I think there's about a $65,000 item that they still have yet to identify. But overall, the monies that were talked about at the Budget Committee meeting have been primarily dealt with the large ticket items. In addition, we've identified here, there's about $65,000 of retirement expense that we've not budgeted for that could come down through the portion that the state currently offsets. And I do believe that we can absorb that through our budget, and I've identified several lines where we could do so. The other thing to consider, just some interesting things, we pay $111,192 every year for the principal and interest payments of Riverfront Park, a gazebo and 1.57-acre parcel. Over the life, we will have paid $1,113,157 for that.
In interest?
A million?
In interest.
Okay.
A million,
1.113. So $1,113,157. The reason why I mention that is that there was also a comment made at the Budget Committee meeting about the total principal and interest payments that are going to be made if this project goes through. And that's based on expending the entire $2.7 million, the entire amount, anticipating that the full amount would be bonded. And it was a high figure, of course, because over the course of 30 years amortizing it, you pay a good bit of interest.
it was 5.6 or something like that.
Yeah, 5 point something.
So
5.56 million or something.
which is the case with any type of loan or bond, and
Right.
that's the cost.
Your house, your car.
That's right, and that's the cost that you pay for having lower payments throughout the life of the loan. And so from that standpoint, I think it's just something to try to keep in perspective and remind people. Also, the rates, the quoted rate that we have is still at 4.9%. But it does appear if we were going to be moving quickly, we might be able to take advantage of lower rates. I put one here which happened to be roughly about the same amount of money we're looking at for the construction portion of the PD that was just done through one of our local banks at a 3.7% rate for 20 years, which right now we're getting a quote of 4.9%, a written quote from the Municipal Bond Bank. Now, the whole debt market and rates in general, the fear is that there's going to be increased rates over time.
Eventually it has to.
It's going to happen
Can't
at
give
some
away
point.
free money forever.
So this is another reason why we're still in a low rate environment, historically speaking. So it's something to take advantage of. And I think in general, the whole purpose of having a fund balance is to provide for those times when there's some type of emergency, but also to help manage the tax rate so that you don't have a big spike from one year to the next depending upon what has to be done. So the GFOA has a guideline which the state uses when we set the tax rate. They have several guidelines that they list out, and we have not yet, as of 2009, we had not yet met the minimum requirement, which was 8%.
GOFA,
Government
GFOA.
Finance Officers Association.
that's the accounting.
Correct, yeah. So it's merely how much money should you have set aside, and what percentage of your general fund operating revenue should you have set aside, how many months of expenses should you have set aside in general to sort of accommodate those issues that you wouldn't necessarily anticipate, or to help manage things. And it is specifically designed to help boards of selectmen, towns, budget committees, help the municipality manage that tax rate, so that you don't go from one amount one year up to a high amount the next year because you've got a one-off thing that you've got to do back down to a lower rate. You can help offset those things by using the fund balance. So my recommendation is that I think the board should publicly, at the meeting, publicly state that you would use the proceeds of the old police department building towards, to offset this bond, the expenses attributable to either the project or to the bond.
So the sale of the old police station would go to the unreserved fund balance. We can then use that money to help offset that amount of
2012.
taxes or whatever amount.
Correct.
Towards the 2012.
Right, and in fact, we have enough fund balance
If we sell
today.
it this year.
And we should have over $700,000 of fund balance based on our 2010 audit. So we more than meet the minimum requirement, which is simply a target. There's no statutory requirement to hold 8% in fund balance of
Well,
your
the
general
percentage is
operating fund
variable,
balance.
isn't it, depending on who you talk to?
Right.
It's
We have not met it since 2005, I believe. And in 2005 or 6, the entire fund balance was used to offset the tax rate, essentially.
I remember that. I loved seeing my tax bill go down.
Yeah, when you've been paying for it.
Yeah,
ever
but-
I know I have.
100%.
That was in 2005. I loved it.
So, as with many things, sometimes everything in moderation is a good thing.
I knew it
So,
wasn't right.
using the amount of, or the projected amount of proceeds from that PD towards offsetting the expense of this project, I think is a good way to help manage the tax rate in the very beginning of the loan, because in 2013 we will not budget for Silver Lake Road, which is $80,000 a year, and in 2016 we only pay half the Riverfront Park. It ends in June, and in 2017 we wouldn't budget at all for it. So we're looking at, by 2017 you'll have $191,000 of debt service come off, which in effect is, it's not going to quite be the same amount of money as what you're looking at from the construction portion, but it's very similar. And it's the tax rate, I believe, can be used to help bridge that gap to get to that point. The board has been very fiscally responsible in prior years, to the point where in, I think it was 2007, there was a warrant article to raise, what was it, $1,400 or $1,900 for fund balance, because we were negative at that point. Maybe that was 2000.
Yep, there was
Getting
one.
my years mixed up, but there was a warrant article at one point to bring that up. I think it was March of 2007, to raise that small amount of money. And ever since then, we have underexpended and been conservative in our revenue estimates, and we continue to do so. So,
But we've had 50,000 in that contingency line item, and that was created to help raise money for that unreserved fund balance, to replace it.
that's correct. But we have been
But
looking
we've
at...
underspent
We've
by
been
far
well
more than...
beyond that.
Yeah, we didn't need it.
Well beyond that. So, and there are items, even as tight as this year's budget is, they're based on hiring, the changes of hiring within the police department, part-time versus full-time, that sort of thing. There are some savings there. There's savings within our TAN expense. There are probably about 5 lines where I can identify a good amount of money that could potentially be saved this year or used to offset the retirement. So in any event, that would be my recommendation, to consider making a statement about the proceeds of the police station. And were someone to suggest that, well, it might take 2 or 3 years to be able to sell that, the price that you want for it, then that's where I think it's appropriate to say that that fund balance can be used to offset the rate prior to actually receiving the proceeds.
I'm not sure it's going to take 2 or 3 years to sell that, as indicated by the real estate, because it's on the main highway and it's close to town, and so I think it's going to move rather more quickly than 2 or 3 years.
Not only that, but it is priced such to where real estate at a lower price is still moving.
I didn't know we'd set a price.
Well,
Going by-
his appraised value.
Oh, it's
Going by-
appraisal.
yeah.
Right.
A recent market appraisal was done, and
259.9, so if we go within a range of that, you can still fairly comfortable say, and this is what his remarks were, fairly comfortable, say if you set it within those parameters, high or low a little bit, that it would still be able to move rather quickly because of its location, because of the demand on that whole strip of Laconia Road, and that it's close vicinity to the center of town.
And be right across the street from that park, too.
Right.
Ernie's
Exactly.
Park, we'll call it.
We'd have to look at his appraisal and see what the
Right.
pros and
but-
cons are, ingress and egress.
Yeah,
Definitely a con.
my reason for bringing that up is only to suggest that if someone were to say, well, gee, you've been trying to sell Business Park Drive, why would you think you can sell this other property any quicker?
It's much.
I mean, there's many reasons why,
many
as you
reasons,
just stated.
exactly.
But also, even if...
It's on water, too,
And sewer.
and sewer, and sprinkled.
even if someone were to believe that, you still have sufficient fund balance to be able to say, we can use the fund balance, if need be, until such time there was a closing.
Now, at town meeting, I wasn't here, I wasn't on the board when this happened a few years ago, but I understand that there's a real negative impression out there of using fund balance, and because it was depleted a few years back to give the taxpayers a break, so that there's a negative spin on it.
The negative comes from the Budget Committee.
I don't want that negative to be out there during this and have it fail because we've put that negative. However, during the discussion, if such a discussion comes up on Thursday evening, are you willing to get up and say, we have some options?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, really, you don't have to have the fund balance discussion. You could simply just state that we plan to
With the
use
PD.
the proceeds of the old PD
Without going into a fund balance?
without even discussing
You
the
don't
fund
need
balance.
to get involved in the details of that
Because the
necessarily.
proceeds will go into fund balance.
Right?
So that we can refer it to you and...
Yeah, I mean, you don't
and-
even have to mention fund balance. You can just say, use the proceeds
Once you
to
get it
offset
in
the
there, then you
project.
can do it.
Right.
But, that discussion also should lead into the vacant lot that would benefit from the water that also could be sold.
Correct.
But to my knowledge, there's no recent market analysis on that.
No, but I'm just saying, it could still be mentioned. I mean, this is a much more viable site.
Right.
All those other possibilities need to be mentioned at least 2 or 3 times.
Right. The other thing, well, finish talking about this and then go on this.
Well, that really was, that was my point, was to
Okay.
say that because it represents at least 10% of the construction
Wait one second.
portion.
The other thing that I wanted to bring up was that when we were talking with the Budget Committee the other night, and that we were talking about the contract, and they said, what happens if it goes to $800,000 or $850,000 to bring water, which we know chances of that happen are very nil, because Probin and Lorber have already done their work, and they wouldn't go ahead and say, put a cap on it. You can put a cap on it to the Nickersons, and we'll pick up the difference, if they weren't fairly certain that they weren't going to come with any monsters
Did they do any
hidden there.
borings?
Not yet. But We need to protect ourselves for the town, hopefully prior to Thursday. And I meant to get with Guy yesterday, but yesterday wasn't the day for me. We need to be able to protect ourselves in some way, because we can only, the remark was made, 650,000. How do we go beyond that? We can only charge a betterment for 650,000. If it's $850,000, how do we recoup from the Nickersons $250,000, $200,000? We have to have some type of surety bond from them or something.
Yeah, Joyce and I are currently working on that.
Okay.
So we should have something.
By town meeting?
Absolutely.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
that is-
as I see it, we're only going to be, if we're stuck with Article 4, we're only authorized to bond up to 650,000, so.
That's correct.
If it comes in over that, they're going to have to come up
No,
with
you're
that
authorized to
money.
bond 2.7 million.
Not on 4,
On 4.
Oh,
I
on
said.
4, I'm sorry.
$650,000.
Just
working
not
on
thinking
that.
beyond the possibility of.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to get to 4, right, Kevin?
It's going to only go to 3. And 3, we've got some
I'm
room.
with you on
At
that,
3,
but
we've got
if
the
it
room.
comes
Being
to
practical.
4,
I did want to
Yeah,
give you an
you're
update.
right. You're
I
right.
checked my voicemail when I was
Goes to
downstairs
4.
and emailed,
Yeah,
and
that's big.
I did hear back from Matt Cowell that he spoke to the head again, and they're lighting the fire under their legal, so he said he hoped we should have something
By
by
Thursday.
night. Yeah.
Great. This is Home Depot.
Yeah.
The
Like a
egress.
written agreement in hand?
Yes.
Or a
Well, we
promise?
have an agreement, they're just, the lawyers are looking at it.
Yeah.
Documenting what's already been agreed to.
Right.
So the two things currently that are missing that we need is Proven and Loper Engineering
Yes.
and New Hampshire Fire, the sprinkler people.
Hampshire.
Hampshire Fire.
Hampshire, did I put the new in there?
Hampshire.
I try not to, but the Hampshire.
And they haven't,
Okay. I have just one question. In regards to using the proceeds, can you tell us how much it cost us to put that old police station up? What we had in,
You mean to build it?
yes,
What it cost to build the property?
yes.
I know what we bonded, but I would have
Okay, well,
to...
what did we bond?
260,000.
260? Okay.
so we're talking again, just
I believe
about
that's correct.
that.
I can, it might have been no, I'm pretty sure it was 260, yeah.
Which
That's
is,
you have
like
to be careful, too,
$400,000 in today's money. Kind of, sort of.
Well, sometimes,
1990.
sometimes it's like, did they bond the whole thing, purchasing the land and the building?
Correct. I'd
Or
have
did
to-
they raise and appropriate monies and bought the land and then have a bond
Right.
article to build it?
Right.
My understanding, the land was a tax,
I think it was.
It was.
was taken by tax deed.
Yes.
but I can go back and look at the Warren article.
I just wanted to get an idea of what the old police department had cost us. Part of our thing is, if we're asked at town meeting, well, if you sell it for this amount, are you losing money, or are you staying even, or, to where I think we ought to at least be able to address that.
you can't just look at money paid up front for
Oh, I
something like
understand
that,
that.
because we've got 20 years of use out of it, and
I
that has
understand that.
value.
But in relating it to, say, if you're looking at relating what was $260,000 in 1990 dollars versus
Right.
2012 or $11, I could understand
Yeah.
making that, as well as looking at the staffing that was in place at the
Right.
time it was built versus
Right.
Well, and then
now.
you'd
But-
have to get into the appreciation of the building, which has got a leak in the foundation.
Well, I'll tell you a concern I have, in that I've had several meetings in that downstairs conference room, is whether or not the police department is going to be continued to allow to use that room.
Not
I'd
without
have
an
hated for
egress.
there to be a fire upstairs when I was down there with you, Sandy, because how would we have gotten out of the building?
We
if
wouldn't-
we close
We'd be
that
dead
off,
today.
you have to, if something does, if something unforeseen happens and we do not get this approved on Thursday, we have to go forward and make some real severe issues corrected,
Right.
and it's going to cost some money.
Yeah.
And in between time, we have to close that room off because there is no egress. That's their lunchroom, that's their conference and training room and meeting room. So, and that's going to be a severe hindrance to their everyday activities.
You know, we'd be better off to move them back into the basement of
Yeah.
this building.
Boy, how would they get out of the basement? Is there, oh, yeah, there's a
Two ways
bulkhead.
out, but, yeah.
There's a
But then
bulkhead.
you'd have to,
I think that's a big step backwards.
But we also
Well-
talked about putting in a bulkhead on that side of the building, so that if something happened, they
Well, there
would
you
have
go.
another
I mean,
way
we
of
couldn't shut
egress.
down that bottom forever. We'd have to
Yeah.
do something to
Yeah.
provide them access. Because
I
that's an
understand
important
there is
part.
a
That's half
bulkhead.
the building.
Right,
and last night, the mold, I heard, is a big issue.
yes.
Right? They have severe mold
I have
issues.
severe mold allergies. I was in bed for 2 days the last time we went down there.
Yeah,
We have a severe mold issue in the evidence room, which is contaminating evidence, which we can't have.
right.
Because those are cases that are going to trial, that if they are hindered in any way.
But
Contaminated.
I guess my question is, we built the room downstairs for them primarily, so that they'd have,
Records.
yeah, so
For
they could
records.
store records down there.
Right.
So that would,
That's full.
But not their records.
but it's not their
They
records.
declined to use it.
They didn't use
The
it, so we
convenience
have.
and security, and there were a lot of issues.
But all I'm getting at is, there could be stuff put down there. I know it's getting fairly full, but,
I mean downstairs here?
yes.
Oh, okay, I understand what you're
I was going to
saying.
say, the security issues at the police
You'd
station?
have to put up a security
Okay, I
door.
get it.
It has a secure door with double locks on it.
Where? Which one?
I'm talking about
Our
downstairs.
storage room where we
The
have
storage
our
room, you have to unlock two
I
locks
can
to
tell
get
you
in there.
right now that that's not even going to be a quarter of what they've got in storage there.
That's why
Yeah.
that's why it was
They declined
redundant
it.
for them to use it.
Yeah,
It,
They basically fill our basement.
and it has to be,
Oh,
and with what they're bringing in right now for evidence, it really has to be a climate controlled. And we don't have a climate controlled
oh,
one of our buildings.
I understand that
I
room
mean,
downstairs
those
is.
files that they have to keep in perpetuity, is it possible for them to be kept in an electronic format and the paper files done away with?
Some
You
can
gotta-
be in electronic, but some
I
cannot.
think we've had this discussion before, I just couldn't remember.
I asked it, yeah.
Yep.
We go electronic
think
whenever
Catherine
we
had a
can,
question.
and then
On your estimated warrant article, it's
save
based
the
on the
underwear
entire
or whatever,
2.7.
the fiscal evidence
No.
separately.
The water is our portion, so that is the net.
Okay, that's what I
The net
suspected.
value of our water. And the reason for
But-
that is that you won't see the revenue. The revenue will offset from this is all from a tax rate perspective,
Okay,
and from a tax rate perspective, you use the net amount, because the
Okay.
revenue will reduce the other portion of that. Even if we don't collect the money, it's still considered revenue, and that revenue will offset the tax rate. So this is a tax rate perspective.
okay,
And-
that was my big question.
The other thing you're only looking at here, you're only looking at the general obligation debt. You're not looking at sewer-related debt. That's separate, because
So what
that's
is
all
your-
paid for by users.
What is your construction based on?
$2,050,000.
Can we realistically do it for $2,050,000?
Well, that's the...
Or we can do it for less than
That's
that.
the 2.7 million, less the 650 of water. That's
Okay, all right.
where that comes from.
There has to be economy in there somewhere.
Okay,
I would
those are my
think.
questions. That's what I suspected, but I wanted to be sure.
And then...
Our figures are going to be challenged inside and out.
Right. So I'll be available. Anything else you need before Thursday? Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No killing yourself before the meeting.
Calling, so she went, Dave?
Good.
All right, so what do we have to talk about next?
Our custodian situation would be
Yes.
probably a good place to go.
Yep. Okay, come on over.
What is a reasonable accommodation may be made to enable individuals with disabilities to perform the essential functions, like carrying things and lifting things and stooping to get things? That's pretty much the whole job, isn't it? Now, I'm all about disability people, but there's
making
certain things, this is a job that requires certain things.
Yeah, but I think those accommodations, generally, when they're talking ADA, is, you wouldn't have your cleaning product
All right.
on a high shelf.
So we wanna
You'd have
know
where they're
which people-
If they were short, yeah,
And
okay,
storage.
yeah, all right.
You'd have your,
Yeah.
you maybe your
Those are reasonable,
sink
Or just the regular.
access where they could reach it.
Okay.
But no, you wouldn't be in a position where you'd be doing the job.
speaking of
for them.
which, did we ever create sink access?
I have the parts.
Ah,
Okay, we have to make a decision. Here's the ads for the newspapers. Are we
That
going-
individual decided not to take?
Well, they've never gotten back to us, so.
Okay.
Okay, where did we go with our list? We went all through it?
Yes, when we did the original interview, certain numbers of them were eliminated either because of the pay rate. This seemed to be a big issue. We only have X number of dollars in our budget. And not that they all seemed to have a good experience, but the pay rate really did knock a lot of them out. They wanted a lot more than what we had to give.
it is
So,
what it is.
we can't
Going
really...
into budgeting this season, do you see that we need to increase that?
I think that it's going to happen, yes. I think that we're going to have, because right now we have, what, $6,600 between us and the police department. That's all that's in the budget for this year. So considering that even with the new vacuum cleaner, I'm going to say that the town hall, in my personal opinion from doing it once, would require a minimum of 3 hours. And that's if you're just moving right along and not slowing down for anything. Yeah, and that's twice a week, so that's 6 hours just for the town hall. The police department, I'm assuming from, I don't know, I haven't talked to him, other than their comments that he was getting everything done. I do not know if that meant everything that was on their list or just those pertinent things that were the most important. So anyway, I think when it comes budget season, we're going to have to put more money in this account. So anyway, now I guess one thing we have to decide is, I don't see to where we have much choice other than to advertise again and get a new, more people to send in resumes and meet with us. Are we going to advertise for just the town hall and the police department, or are we also advertising for the town hall, police, and Riverfront? I do not know what the park commissioners, how they want to handle this.
That's on them.
No,
They're a
I
separate
had
entity, are they not?
a meeting a month or two ago that Norm wouldn't have any knowledge of. The park commissioners want to be included in that. They will, and I kind of edited the job description here to include it, they will simply be in charge of that cleaning person as it pertains to the parks. In other words, what they want done, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, is monies coming out of their budget as well?
Yes.
Because,
Their monies will cover the hours that they spend
That they're-
cleaning the
yeah.
parks.
because that would have a definite effect on
Yeah.
how much we could offer per hour.
So is this a 20-hour-a-week job? How much is this?
Well,
Well,
you
15
figure-
hours?
Minimum 6 to 7 hours in the town hall. And then, I don't know, what was he down at the police, 4 hours a week? 4 a week? So a total of 10 hours just for the town hall and the police department.
You probably have another 5 hours at the park at least. Where are you going? Oh. Anyway, going to the bathroom.
You want to take a little break and...
Probably not till next year.
Where are you going?
Right. No,
Can you handle this by yourself? Yeah. All right, let me turn the light on.
okay.
You come straight back up, okay?
Did we ever get a
Down
So
button.
I would say.
You have to hold it on all the way
fluorescent,
down. Right much at the door.
compact fluorescent?
I don't think Joyce is following
No,
it.
well, we've
All right,
got
why
one
don't we
bulb
take
in
a little
there
recess?
for now.
We'll just take a recess.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go.
Yes, we have the ads, we started talking. Do you want to, Catherine?
No, the ones, we don't do anything with the Riverfront Park one, that's the Parks Commissioners.
Well, according to Catherine.
What I said.
She talked to the commissioners, they want to be, us to be advertised for that as well. Whoever we hire, they'll use. The money for their time will come out of their budget.
Oh, that's fine.
At their,
Okay.
and that person will clean
All right.
at their direction.
That's,
So anyway-
I got that, I can handle that,
All right, so we'll
as long
use
as
this
it's out of their
ad.
budget.
This includes police station, riverfront, and town hall. That would be the ad. Okay? I just need to wash my hands.
How many hours,
And that's what we were just discussing.
how many
Approximately
hours
10
here? 10 hours here, right?
Well, 10 hours here, 15 with the police,
No,
and
no,
we
no,
figure...
no, no, in a
It
week.
was 6 and 4 is what we had.
Okay, 6 and 4, so 10 plus...
6 and 4.
At least 5 hours a week at the
So
pavilion.
about 15 hours a week.
15 to 20.
If we say 15 to 20, that ought to pretty well cover it.
All right. So we should put it in the Echo and the Sun. What do you think?
Yeah,
Catherine suggested,
and on our website.
and of course on the website, I thought Catherine suggested the citizen. That we not,
Well, it's all gonna be in classifieds, and those are less expensive than the displayed ads.
Okay. All right.
So
We also have the, so it's approximately 15 to 20 hours. It will encompass the Riverfront Park, the police station, and town hall.
Right?
The Riverfront Park will be coming out of their budget,
Yep,
police comes out of their budget, and town hall comes out of our budget.
right.
So we have to change this custodial cleaning approximately 10 hours per week at the town hall, police station, and Riverfront Park. It needs to be 15 to 20 hours.
Yes, 15 to 20.
So I'm going to just correct this here,
Yep,
15 to 20 hours.
yep.
Okay,
All right?
we got that.
Yep.
All right, we have the proposals, estimates on the fans downstairs for the tax collector. We have one that's $727. We have one that's $490, and then there was one that was questionable because we asked him, because he was moving an existing light, because there was some discussion on, he was told that he had to move it closer to over there.
Yep.
Without it being moved, it's $525. So we have one in Tilton, an estimate from a person in Tilton, and that's $525. And $490 for one in, from Samberton. There's a difference, what, 35, 40, $45,
Do we know,
$35.
I mean, I'm not, I don't really want to spend any more than we absolutely have to.
I can't vote for any of those things.
No, they seem,
$500 for a fan? No.
seems a little high.
Seems way high to me. I don't know, and I'm not saying that she's not deserving of some relief, because I know she is.
Yeah.
But $500? Seems like a lot of
It's
money.
also putting in a manual control that goes down the wall and putting in the control.
I understand that. Still
Buying a fan.
$500.
What's a fan? 100 something?
Yeah. You know, he's saying the materials alone is $250, $240 for the labor.
Seems high to me. I don't, obviously, that's the ballpark these guys are playing in, but it still seems high to me.
Well, we have three estimates, one at $727, one at $525, and one at $490. These are all apples to apples now.
Yeah. Well, then I mean,
And it's simply installing a fan, running the electrical, putting in a switch.
Right.
right,
$490.
And
Short money.
what is in her money, what is in her budget to cover this?
Nothing. Her budget doesn't cover maintenance, town maintenance. It would be coming out of our building maintenance.
Well, her budget isn't our budget, so. it's our
How
budget,
about
but
we spend $25 on a little propeller fan?
It doesn't work. Because
It doesn't
essentially,
work.
what it is because of the window right there, all you're doing is blowing that hot air on it.
How can we mitigate the window issue? Because installing a $500 fan does nothing for the hot air. It's going to
Probably-
blow hot air.
It helps
Probably
us-
the least expensive mitigation for the window is to buy some low-E film that would help
Right.
to deflect some of that
We're
heat.
gonna do
maybe
that
we
as
should
well.
do that as
But
well.
there's no, yeah, we need to do that as well.
Now we're
There's no
talking
air
about
movement.
$700.
Nah, there's no air movement where she is. She's got
That's-
3 walls,
it's
and one of
dead-
them is a window.
dead air.
It's dead air.
Space.
So the ceiling fan moves the most amount of air.
Right. Well,
I would go with the lesser one.
yeah, me too. And let's put up some of that film as well.
Because, I mean, it's almost a health issue at this point. It's so
I know.
hot in there for her.
It is too hot in that corner, I understand that. And
You
I,
have to be in that corner,
Yes.
does she? Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to be moving safes.
yeah,
We
We
went
already
through
did
that
that.
a year ago.
yeah.
And
So
they-
she could be in that.
They're
It
heavy.
just dawned on me.
We'll
It's like,
spend
does she
far
have to be
more,
there?
we'll spend far more than this moving safes. So,
What did we pay? We paid $700 to move the safe across the room.
I think we paid a little less.
Little less than
We didn't
that.
use the whole amount.
Well,
Oh, well.
I think it was 400
That's a heavy
but
savings,
anyway,
though.
so I'll make a motion, what is it, 490?
$90.
90? I make a motion, we accept. Okay, so it would be, Mr. Ellis? Okay, I make a motion that we hire Ellis Electric, William N. and Sons. They gave an estimate of $490 to do the job.
second.
A motion has been made and seconded to have Mr. Ellis install a 52-inch Casablanca four-season paddle fan in the town clerk, tax collector's area. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay.
And I would also say that we need to buy the film and coat that window to cut down on the amount of,
The low-E film,
yes.
okay. Do you want to put that in form of a motion?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
You know what, we eyed real soon. While we're doing that, should we consider Joyce's office?
With the low E stuff, yeah, by all means.
Yeah.
By
By
all
all
means.
means.
And I think I'd ask her.
Well, we can ask her, but I would be 100% behind it.
Yeah,
Because-
ask her. She may be fine, but I think we should ask her.
Yeah, I
You know,
agree.
if she want, because it will darken her room a little.
If she agrees to it, then I say we do her room as well. I'll make that a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and second to also include low-E film for the town administrator's office. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are we done?
Almost done.
What did we decide on the custodian?
We're going to advertise it in, it's going to be 10 to 15 hours?
No,
15,
15 to 20.
I mean, I'm sorry,
Approximately.
15 to 20 hours. We're going to advertise it in the Echo, Citizen and Sun.
You said citizen?
Can we change one of those to the Monitor?
Oh, you'd rather put it in the
I'd
Monitor?
rather go, I mean, we didn't do very well as far as takers. I'd rather go a little,
All right, well
All
then
right.
let's not do the Citizen, let's do the Monitor.
I'd rather...
I'd say not do the Sun and
Yeah.
do the
'Cause the
Monitor,
Sun-
Citizen, and Echo.
It's a free
Sun has to
paper.
be picked up. It's a free paper, but it has to be picked up. It doesn't come, and it's not located unless you go somewhere specifically to pick up the
pick it up.
paper.
No, all right, I'm fine with that.
All right? So I would say that the Sun,
See,
the
I don't
Citizen,
subscribe to the Citizen, I don't pick it up because I have to pay for it and I get the Sun for free.
Oh, yeah, I
Right.
get this on myself.
I'd buy the
Monitor, and the Echo. Now,
Bought paper
you
and
know
didn't
now that
either.
the Citizen has become its own paper for Laconia. They've left, they're not
They
part
left
of,
Foster's?
they're
Foster
not
sold
part
them
of
off.
Foster's, right.
So they're
Interesting.
a separate entity now.
Yes, they're a
Well, good for
Laconia
them.
paper.
When
Again,
Gallagher Smith owned it, they were separate. That-
Well, when Foster bought it, I just used to call it the Dover Citizen because
Yeah.
it was
But it is now
strange,
a
wasn't it?
Laconia
Yeah.
paper. I saw that.
They've got
I
spell
read all the
check now.
papers online, and they just changed their whole format, and they said, bear with us. We've had a lot of calls complaining that we changed the format, but we're now
you
the
take a look at
Laconia
this?
paper. They're off by
Please decide.
themselves.
Maybe I'll start getting it again.
So, anything else?
This is the PDIP.
All right, we just found out from the attorney, which I'll fill you in after, Catherine.
Yes.
That's why I walked away, was Attorney Phillips. Oh, here it is, right here.
Yeah, there's the signature. And we have to make a motion to allow Pat to sign that as the chairman.
So moved?
You guys want to read what you
Second.
can have, asking her to sign?
Oh, yeah, well, I insist on that, but
Yeah.
Are we all set on town meeting? Catherine, you understand now that we'd like the tables put in a V in that format? Could you also notify?
Okay. We set up.
Yeah, we said.
Okay.
We
But
set
we,
up.
we would like enough tables.
I've already talked to Jeff.
Okay, but,
Land is the new director. I talked to him yesterday and told him exactly what we needed. I faxed everything over and he said he will take care of it.
all right, but we didn't have it in a V formation, which means more tables.
I will call him back this afternoon and tell him we need more tables. And
Okay.
So how many, usually we had the 3, so how many do you want, 4 now?
We have how many tables?
Usually there are 3 in the front
So there's 2 for the Board of Selectmen,
and 1 for the budget.
1 for the Budget Committee.
Right. So now you need another smaller table?
We would need an area
I
where
would-
the count votes.
I would put 2 on both sides, wouldn't
Yeah.
you?
So 4 tables.
Yeah, 4 tables.
Right, because the town clerk tax collector is going to be on one.
And the assistant moderator.
The assistant moderator is going to be there.
And
Yeah.
we could arrange them
Right.
when we get there.
Right.
Then we can,
And then we could put them in, we'll arrange them when we get there, correct?
the
And
state
then-
legislature doesn't have any access to this money, do they?
oh, no. And what
Okay.
about, do we have
I'm
a,
good.
if they had a smaller table, we could set it off to the side for counting.
A round table, one of those round tables would be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
So tomorrow night is the fire commissioners meeting at 5:30, and then the Old Home Day Committee is at 6:30
Yep.
at the Pines.
When's the fire?
Fire is at 5:30 here,
Yep.
and Old Home is at 6:30 at the Pines.
Right.
There's something else going on tomorrow night, isn't there?
Tomorrow morning is the Winnipesaukee Transit Advisory Board, and then Thursday, we'll meet at the school at 5. Also, if you know of anybody that needs a ride going to the polls, call Catherine. She's got creating a list,
Right.
Jensen's, and Bell Peabody, and we have a few others that are around town that are already signed up. Did we have a motion for me to sign this?
Yes, I made a motion, it was seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Basically, the only real changes they made to the PDEP is the credit facility.
Right.
You say the fire district meeting is at 5:30?
Yep.
No, I had it at 6:30.
So did I, but
Well, no, that's good. That
They
makes
always meet at
old home.
5:30.
All right.
anyway, can I make that motion now to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye. And what did Phillips have to say?
Wait a minute.
As we
Turn
go
off
to
the camera.
attorney-client.
Yep.